Cedar Point's Wild Mouse coaster is the park's new for 2023 investment, and while the coaster may seem like a plain old family coaster, it's really a lot bigger than you think. This new coaster Cedar Point got for 2023 isn't just a new family addition. Wild Mouse at Cedar Point has revealed a lot of bigger things going on with Cedar Point and the Cedar Fair chain in general. Cedar Point's Wild Mouse is truly bigger than you realized, and it could even drastically change the future of the entire amusement park industry over the next decade. Before I get ahead of myself, let's get back to the beginning. On August 11th, 2022, Cedar Point announced their first new coaster in over 5 years. Coming to the park's newly updated boardwalk for 2023 was not only a new restaurant, but a brand new family thrill coaster. Wild Mouse would be built by Zamperla and would be the first Zamperla coaster of this scale to come to a Cedar Fair park. Whatever you think this new addition Cedar Point decided to add for 2023, the fact that they chose Zamperla as the ride's manufacturer was definitely a shock to a lot of people. Zamperla is mostly known for their flat rides and kiddie coasters, and the fact that Cedar Point would trust them with building a family thrill coaster at their best park is really surprising. Zamperla has been making a push into the roller coaster industry a lot in recent years, and it would make sense for Cedar Fair to give them a shot at building a coaster at one of their parks. The fact that they contracted Zamperla for Cedar Point, though, without first experimenting with a similar coaster at one of their other parks, means they trust Zamperla to deliver a spectacular coaster. What's interesting about this relationship between Zamperla and Cedar Fair is that it seems they have been working together a lot more these last few years. Cedar Fair seems to trust Zamperla a lot, and this could lead to some of the craziest things we've ever seen in the amusement park industry. But I'll get to that in a minute. Cedar Fair has been purchasing a ton of Zamperla's latest flat rides, most recently with the new package of rides that came to Carowinds' new Aeronautica landing. Cedar Fair definitely has a solid relationship going on with Zamperla, and if Wild Mouse performs as expected, I bet we're gonna see Zamperla building a bunch of Cedar Fair's new coasters over the next couple of years. So that's all of what we know about Cedar Fair's relationship with Zamperla, which leads me to the elephant in the room that everyone has been talking about: Top Thrill Dragster. Top Thrill Dragster's reimagining has been one of the most talked about coaster projects in a very long time. Rumors have been coming out that Zamperla is involved with the reimagining of Top Thrill Dragster, and Zamperla themselves have said that their new lightning train will soon be seen on some of the world's fastest attractions. The fact that there even is such a rumor going around is really insane. 5 years ago, no one would have dreamed Zamperla would become this relevant in the coaster industry, and today it seems they are only just getting started. If Zamperla is in any way involved in the reimagining of Top Thrill Dragster, even if it's only slightly, that's a major deal. If Cedar Point trusts Zamperla enough to let them do work on one of the biggest coaster projects in history, then Zamperla definitely isn't a roller coaster manufacturer to sleep on. All this leads back to Wild Mouse. Cedar Point's 2023 edition really paints a totally different picture. While it may not be the best coaster the park could have chosen to add, it tells us a lot about the chain's relationship with the up-and-coming roller coaster manufacturer. Zamperla may very well become one of the top-tier roller coaster manufacturer in the coming years, and Cedar Fair seems to be standing right behind them. Zamperla has made a push towards coasters in the past, and most of the time the coasters the company developed didn't turn out so well for them. Today, however, it's different. The company seems ready to rival Intamin's Blitz coaster model with multi-launch LSM coasters of their own that truly look spectacular. The company's brand new lightning trains also look to be amazing, and it will be interesting to see how they turn out the new coaster coming to P&E Playland in 2024. Zamperla's double heart coaster model looks like a very promising concept, and though it may be very similar to rides from manufacturers like Intamin and Premier Rides, for the right price, this coaster model could become a big hit. If Zamperla is able to make great multi-launch coasters for a low price tag, I think a lot of parks that stop working with Intamin may take a bite and purchase a major coaster from Zamperla in the future. Intamin's recent coasters have been a massive improvement from the earlier thrill machines, but if parks already disbanded their relationship with Intamin, they might not be so quick to work with them again. That leads to the reason I think Zamperla has one of the best shots at becoming a top-tier coaster manufacturer in the coming years. That reason is flat rides. Zamperla is known to make some of the industry's best and most thrilling non-coaster rides, and they already have a working relationship with a ton of amusement parks across the world. Literally everyone works with Zamperla, and as their flat rides continue to get better and better, we've been seeing more and more parks beginning to work with this innovative company. Zamperla is also known for their kiddie coasters, and a lot of parks in the world have Zamperla coasters for the little kids. If Zamperla has a working relationship with a park, it'll be a lot easier for them to convince the park to purchase a coaster from them. It's a lot easier for Zamperla to sell a coaster to a park they already have a great relationship with, building flat rides. Imagine if Zamperla picked up the phone to a park that has a bunch of their flat rides already. The park will be very likely to consider Zamperla for the next coaster if the price is right. Zamperla has a really good relationship with most of the major chain parks and a ton of the large independent parks, which is exactly why I think that as long as their coasters aren't too pricey, they will become a major player in the roller coaster industry. Cedar already seems to be on the Zamperla train and seem eager to work with them on future projects. So I'm really curious to see if and when we see them build another Zamperla coaster and what type of model they'd go for. If Zamperla continues to build successful rides that prove to be reliable and worth their price tag, then their future is as bright as it ever was. If Cedar Point's Wild Mouse feels like a disappointment to you, then at least you know another new coaster manufacturer is on the verge of their biggest success yet. But when is Cedar Fair going to work with Zamperla next? What next coasters does Cedar Fair have in store for their parks in 2024 and beyond? Click here to watch my video where I share my thoughts on some of the best coasters ever that are currently in the works for your favorite Cedar Fair park.